Hi Vijay Kumar, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Like, what about you?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking. So, can you tell us something about yourself?
Okay. So myself, K. Vijay Kumar. I have 6 years experience in manual testing. So I have worked in core banking domain and general insurance domain. So in that I have worked in waterfall testing methodology my
Mhm.
project, and I have involved in sanity testing, SAT testing, UAT testing, regression testing. That so in part of automation, past few months I started to develop test cases using Selenium WebDriver with the core Java programming language. So I involved in everyday daily scrum call meeting, and I involved to my everyday testing activities are understanding the business requirement, preparation of the test plan strategy document, and I prepare the clarification document, test data, test design. After that, we are peer review for the different test cases and send it for review to BA for that. After that, we are starting executing the test cases as per assigned functionalities and updating the status in test management tool. And we are retesting of the we are if we are facing any issues for the test cases, we are raising defect in defect management tool with attaching defect evidence screenshot, and we are responsible for defect validation, tracking, review, and reporting. And I am updating this status and then sending the DSR. So this is what about me.
Right, right. So, you have got the experience in manual testing only. And how about
Yes.
automation testing?
In automation testing, like recently I have learned automation
Mhm.
as a framework as well. So I have learned myself like in my current project, I'm developing a script for that application. So what I'm working currently in my project.
Okay, okay, great. So, which is the defect management tool that you are using?
So in my project, like currently I'm using like HP ALM defect management.
Okay, HPLM you are using. Are you
Yes.
aware about Jira?
Oh yes, I have aware of Jira. Jira.
Okay, do you know how to create defect in Jira?
Um, in Jira, like in create like we are creating the epic and user story.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you will
Uh,
have epic and user story, and whenever you will be creating a defect, you will be linking that particular defect or issue with the
yes,
user story. So which are
yes.
the various steps those are there when you create a defect in Jira?
So various steps.
Hmm.
Uh, I have not
Okay.
worked in Jira, but
No worries, no worries. That is totally fine. See, in Jira, first of all, you will be entering the summary of the ticket, summary of the issue. Then you will have description of that particular issue. Then you will have the severity, priority, then which
yes,
sprint you need to get it fixed. Also, you want to keep it in the current sprint or you would like to move it to the defect backlog. So those are different
okay,
states. Those are available. Then you will have expected result, actual result. You will have to
yes,
attach screenshots. So those also
take
fields are
evidence.
there. Yes, as a part of evidence, screenshots or videos, right? So those things are there. And then you will click on create. So that ticket would be created, right? That issue would be created. And then you would be linking it to some particular user story
Yes,
you feel that is a part of.
yes, correct.
So that is that. Okay. Now you are using HP Quality Center, right?
Correct.
How will you ensure that there is no duplication of bugs in the quality center?
Okay, so we are linking with the test case ID.
Hmm. Okay, you are linking it. So test case IDs are always unique. So there is no chances.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's say if I have written my test cases in Excel file, is it
Okay.
possible to import that Excel file to quality center or I will have to rewrite my test cases into the quality center?
Hey, it's possible like we can write like multiple test cases, like a number of test cases in through Excel sheet. That through Excel sheet, like we can upload like in Excel audience options will be there. So
Hmm.
through that we are I'm logging my ALM login. So after that in there I'm linking my test cases with my respective requirement ID.
Hmm. Right. And then you will be importing that particular file, right?
Yes, sir. I'm validating the test case. I am mapping, and I will add the test case in the defect management, test management.
Okay, okay. So what do you mean by self join in SQL?
So self join,
Mhm.
self join like maybe inner join.
So those are other types of join. Inner join is there, outer join is there, right? But
Yes.
what is self join?
SQL self join. I don't know.
Okay, okay. See, as the name itself suggests, indicates the self join, it will join a table to itself, right? Now, in order to utilize this particular self join, your table, let's say it has one column X, okay, that operates as a primary key. So you are aware about primary key in SQL?
Yes, I'm aware of the privileges.
Yeah. So let's say you have this column X and that has primary keys, right? And there is a column Y. Let's say it holds data that can be matched up with the values in the column X, right? Now column X and column Y both are not having the same value for every given row, right? There might be chances that column Y may be even null, right? So for these table abbreviations, we are going for self join,
Okay.
right? So there are times when the values of both the columns don't match with each other, right? So which is why we will go for self join, right?
Yeah.
Um, what do you know about get, post, and put?
Get, post, and put.
Yeah, yeah,
SQL.
yes.
Oh, you were asking me like these are all in SQL SQL
No, no,
database.
this is not in SQL. So these are methods. Let's say if you are doing API testing, so you will be having their get, post, put. These are the various methods you will have.
Okay. Oh,
If you
actually,
want
I
to
don't
turn
have
on, if you want to turn
APIs.
on the fan, you can turn it on. I see it's
Oh, it makes some noise. That's right.
okay. Yeah, tell me. So
But
what is get, post, put? What are all these things?
I have not worked in API testing. But
Okay, okay, no worries, no worries. So see, these are all the methods, those are available for API testing, right? Get,
okay.
post, put. Let me explain you these methods. Is my screen visible?
No, it's not visible.
Not visible. Yeah. Now is it visible?
Oh, it's visible.
Yeah. So these are generally methods that you will use for APIs. Post request,
Yes.
it is for creating or updating data, right? Put request
Okay.
is for updating data, right? Then
Okay.
get request, it is for retrieving or fetching data. Delete
Okay.
request is for deleting data. Request URL, so it's actually a different thing. So these four request methods you should be aware about, right? They might ask you
Okay.
anything else, right? Post
Okay.
is more for creating. Put is for updating.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the API testing methods. Okay. Now what do you know about BTD?
BDD is like Cucumber framework.
Hmm. So
So
why?
behavior driven
Yeah. So
development.
why BDD should be used? Why not? We should go for keyword driven framework or data driven framework. What is the significance of using BDD framework?
So in framework, like we are creating the feature file and a step definition file and test runner classes. So in feature file, we are creating the test scenarios and test cases. On that step definition files, we are writing the our like methods. So in that test runner class, like we are calling that we are calling it feature and step definition path.
Hmm.
And we are running that code for that.
Okay. See, BDD, it's a framework that is, you mentioned it rightly, behavioral driven development, right? So you will have feature file, you will have step definition file. That's a part of
Yes.
the framework. But if an interview, if you get this question, why to use BDD framework? Why should we go for BDD framework? What is the significance of BDD framework? Why not people, prefer going for data driven and keyword driven? There are chances that people might go for those frameworks also. Again, it is dependent on their applications which are to be automated, right? But why BDD is in demand? Okay, so what is the reason? So you have to answer in this manner. See, earlier BDD, before BDD, people used to work on TDD, that is test driven development. Now also they are working on that. Test driven development is there, right? In which
Okay.
you should have some technical knowledge. You are supposed to have scripting knowledge. You are supposed to have coding knowledge, right? But now, if you see from the stakeholders' point of view, from business analyst point of view, from non-technical people, they might not be aware about coding and scripting, right? They are non-technical people, but they also have to automate. They also have few of the test cases or test scenarios in their mind which they have to automate. So what does BDD do? BDD will provide a path. It will provide a handshake. It will create a bridge to overcome the gap between the technical and the non-technical team, right? Why so? Because using BDD, the non-technical team would be able to write the code, the feature file that you were telling in the form of given when then, that is plain text English language, right? In the form of keywords, which are actually linked to the step definition file, right? So even though you would have written the code, but if someone writes the scenarios in the English language, in the plain text English language, right? So they can also automate the cases that are giving them the pain during the release time, right? So it's actually a kind of a, jargon that will have a clear approach, right? And it is easy to understand also. You don't need to understand what is system.out.println, public static void main, all those things. Technical things are not required. Anyone, anybody, whether it is a technical or non-technical, they would be able to create the automation scripts.
Okay.
Right? Is this clear? Okay. Okay. Now, let's say, let's continue on this BDD framework. You have created a feature file. Okay. Now,
Yes.
I have the data in the feature file, which you have created, which is as per the uh, staging environment. Okay.
Okay.
So that data will run, that is the test data for running your automation in the staging environment. Is it possible to use the same feature file to run your automation script in UAT or in testing environment or in development environment also?
No.
Are you sure?
Think sorry, I don't know.
No worries, no worries. See, in the feature file, there is an option to parameterize also, right? Let's say if you are automating the login application and you have
Okay.
multiple test data, multiple test set of various permutation and combinations of, alphanumeric characters login username with some password, then numeric characters username with some password, then only alphabetic
Okay.
with some password. So there is a provision to parameterize, to send the arguments. You can keep them in the pipe characters in the feature file, and during the runtime, it will run with each and every test set, right? So there is a provision to parameterize the feature file. Okay. So in an interview, you might also get this same question in the other way. Is it possible to do parameterization in the feature file or not?
Okay.
Right. So that is possible. Okay. How do you identify the test cases which are suitable for automation?
So how to identify the test cases which is suitable for?
Automation. Let's say you have 1000 test cases in your
Yeah.
HPLM tool, right? And
Okay.
your manager asks you that, Vijay Kumar, I want you to focus on the test cases and segregate the test cases which are dedicated for required for automation. Then what will you do?
Okay, so first I will take the test cases with priority wise, which is the major functionalities going to work. It should not affect the functionality. So priority wise, I will divide the cases and I will develop the script and I will run the automation.
Sorry, can you please come again? So you will prioritize the.
I will prioritize the test cases. So which is the like important functionality for that requirement.
Okay, okay. So you are telling the test cases which are covering the important functionality, the critical
Functionality.
business related functionalities, those you will be taking. And you
Correct.
can also consider the test cases which are repetitively to be tested. Let's say there are 10 test cases, which every day in the morning you have to test, right? So you can automate those test cases. You can consider them as an ideal candidates for automation. Okay. Now,
Okay.
how will you identify the test cases which are required for regression?
So regression, like if you're adding the new functionality, like it should not affect the old functionalities. So
Hmm.
like I will identify the test scripts and I will run daily further regression test.
Okay. But how will you identify? So regression is something that you just mentioned about the definition. But how will you identify the test cases which are suitable for regression?
Sorry, I'm not.
Okay, no worries. See, there are two things that you can do over here. One thing is
Yeah.
based on your current sprint, you are aware about agile methodology, right?
Oh,
So
yes. Yes.
based on your current sprint, you might be having some set of user stories. And you, when
Yes.
you do sprint planning, you will come to know, okay, this particular enhancement is going to come in this particular
Oh,
release. So it is actually an extension or it is actually somewhat linked to some feature A, which is already developed in your application, right? So
okay.
that feature A automatically becomes your ideal candidate for regression because you're going to do you are going to create a new feature which will be getting integrated with your old feature A, right? Or you are doing
Okay.
an enhancement which is pertaining to feature A. So all the functionalities those are in feature A, there are high chances that they might get impacted, they might get affected, right? So it is
Okay.
very important to consider them for regression. Okay. Now
Okay.
it is what is performance testing?
The performance testing, like we are to check, we are checking whether the functionalities are working properly under the extreme conditions.
Do you perform non-functional testing?
Oh, non-functional testing. Functional testing, I have SAT and UAT,
Uh,
sanity regression testing. I have.
okay, okay, fine. So whenever you get this question, what is performance testing? So there are two major types of performance testing. You know, one is load testing, one is stress testing.
Stress
So
testing.
yeah, so is you can cover the basic part about load testing, stress testing. Load testing is you will
Uh,
analyze
Test
the
the limit within the limit we are testing the
yes,
requirement.
yes,
On stress test is beyond the limit we are.
absolutely. Yeah. So that's how you will be testing it.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So are you able to see flipkart.com?
Oh yes. I'm able to.
Okay. Now I want you to tell me high-level test scenarios for this search functionality.
So high level test scenario. So first we have search functionality. So first we are writing this code for we are able to search the products in that list. So after searching the product, I will write test cases for adding the product, which color I want to choose, and what is the price range, and what would be the size. So those I will select and I will add it cart, and I will write test cases for the make payment for the test cases. I will create test cases for make payment scenarios, and then like I will check whether the net banking option is enabled on UPI. So I will create test case for those scenarios, and I will check whether the order is placed successfully. So this I will cover these scenarios for the high level. For the product search and select the colors, all price range orders, and then making a payment and ordering successfully. So these high level scenarios I will cover in test cases.
Okay, so these high-level scenarios like add to cart, and you will make sure that payment is happening successfully. So if you get this question about having test scenarios for entire website, this particular website, then you can add those. When you get test scenarios in an interview, if you're asked for search functionality, then
Yeah.
you will first answer related to the search only. Let's say if you enter an item that is available on this website, so it is a happy path, whether it is getting searched or not. Functional
Okay.
test scenarios, right? You can search for
Okay.
products, you can search for brands, you can search with uh, product name with some mistake in its spelling, right? Then you can see what happens. You can search with the product name with having some white space in between or after every character, right? You can
Okay.
also so these were functional test scenarios. For non-functional testing, you can validate after search how much time the page is taking to load the number of products or tell the prices, right? So after search, are the product prices getting changed after every search, or they are remaining same? It might happen on festival time, it might change, but it should not happen that every day in and day out it is getting changed after every search, right? So those kind of scenarios you have to test. Then again, you will be testing in your mobile also, Android, iOS. You will be testing in other browsers like Firefox, Edge, Safari, whichever browsers you support, right? Then
Okay.
you can also see whatever things you have searched, is the history being maintained? And when you are you able to search some particular product from the history again, right? So those will be the high level test scenarios for the search functionality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is clear.
Okay.
Okay, now in your resume, it has been mentioned that you are involved in peer review for the designed test cases. So when you review the test cases which are designed by your teammates, so which are the different
Okay.
factors that you will take into consideration as a part of test case review?
Okay. So first I will check the test scenario ID number. So test scenario description,
Hmm.
and then I will check the so what will be the criteria, like whether positive test cases or negative test cases, and I will write the test case descriptions, and then
Hmm.
I will follow the test steps. So what will be the step one by one for the test scenarios for validating, and I am updating the expected result, and I am updating the status, execution status, whether the test case, but that particular test case is passed or failed.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this I will review in the for tests and created test document.
Right. Then you will make sure that they have covered all the test scenarios. They have covered happy path. They have covered negative testing scenarios also. They have covered non-functional scenarios. If there are UI UX related things, then have they covered those test scenarios? If there are test
Okay.
scenarios in which the testing techniques can be used, boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, so have they used them? So those all things you will
Yes.
consider for peer review. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Vijay Kumar, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, yes, I want to know like the system testing and end-to-end testing will be there. Like both is same or it is different?
System testing is something in which you will be testing the application or your software with respect to various system, right? But
Okay.
end-to-end testing is something that you will be doing system testing. You'll be doing apart from functional testing, you'll be doing non-functional testing also, right?
Okay.
And you will be doing accessibility testing. So all
Okay.
everything that will come into the E2E end-to-end testing that is generally done before the release, right?
Okay.
So that is the okay, Vijay Kumar. Anything else?
Can you give some feedback like how to improve myself for that? Like actually, I thought like mostly the questions will be functional related uh, and Java, and
Yeah,
I thought coding wise and Selenium.
right.
It's totally it's different.
Yeah.
That's
So
why.
like I actually saw your resume, and from resume I was able to come up with those questions. Um,
Okay.
um, See, Java programming related questions will be asked to you, right? But then we also had a conversation like you are still learning Java, you are still learning Selenium. So I thought we can connect on some other day and we can cover those aspects once you are prepared for those things. And today we
Okay.
took more of a manual, but still I brought in some questions on BDD framework, right? And some
Okay.
framework Selenium related, those questions were there, right? But more of manual testing was there because a lot of things experience you have which says of manual testing, right? So that
Uh,
focus we kept for today's interview,
okay. Okay.
right? Right. Okay.
So mostly currently I have 6 years experience. Like if I'm going to attend for like next like other companies, like how will be the questions will be for interview?
Okay. Okay.
It will come from that testing concept wise and Java concept wise, or
Yes.
how it will be logical, really real time questions. They will
Okay.
ask like how will be the questions.
So if you are looking for now automation testing position, then you might get questions on Java, finally, throwable throws, so exceptions,
Java
try
exception
catch, then the
and
use
string.
concepts, all these questions you will get. And then you will also get questions like, can you design framework from scratch? Are you capable? Do you think that you are capable enough to design framework from the scratch? So
Okay.
if you have to guide the team, if you have to create a framework for them, and you have to guide the team, would you be able to do that? So senior
Okay.
level questions will be asked to you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vijay Kumar, and wish you all the best for your interview.
Yeah. Thanks, Rakesh. Thank you so much.